Welcome back to the channel, guys. So today we're going to be going through the most asked questions on the channel. Wanted to say thank you for hitting 2,500 subscribers. Really appreciate that, guys. What a great Christmas present as we're in the holiday season to hit that accomplishment and that milestone. So really appreciate everybody sharing the videos, spreading the content around. I really hope that it's helpful and allows you guys to make informed decisions about purchases, especially when it comes to gas blowbacks. They're very expensive, toys essentially. Hopefully it's helpful for you. So what I did was went through all of your comments over the last, year or two, put together a list of the most asked questions and some good ones that I pulled out as well. Really, this video is from you guys. So thank you again for watching the content. We'll get right into it. So the number one question asked on the channel is, what tracer are you using? I get a ton of these questions all the time. So the tracer that I'm using is a Guardian Mach suppressor with the Ace Tech unit built in. And then this is the short version. Do note this is a direct thread on tracer that goes straight onto the muzzle. There are some other variants out there. I think Dytac and a couple of others make some similar ones that might be quick detach, so take a look at those if you want the longer version. But if you're looking for something short and something a little less gamey looking as something like the Bifrost, that sort of thing, Guardian Mach suppressor in the short version off of Evike is a pretty great option. So the next one that gets asked is, what handguard am I using on my MWS? I actually have two of these, and I've talked about this on the channel before, but we'll go ahead and condense that. This is a Howe URGI 10.5 inch rail on my MWS, and I have another 14.5 behind the camera. You guys can't see that, but basically it is a Howe rail in flat dark earth. I bought it directly from Howe, so it was shipped from Taiwan to the US. No issues there. Fairly cost effective, and then it just depends on your internal barrel option. If you're using a Dytac aftermarket barrel, you won't need the adapter, but if you're ordering it direct from Howe and you're going to use the original barrel that is on your gun, make sure that you get it with the MWS adapter. But that's the rail that I use on all of my MWS M4s, and it's the Howe URGI rail. So the next question that comes up is, what grenade am I using? I'm not super happy with this airsoft sound grenade. Reason being, I've had a lot of misfires. Display clip.
Why did it go off?
And so I don't feel great telling you guys about this company, but since you asked, I'll provide it anyway. I'm using the Tectonics Quake grenade, and it's got the 7 cylinders, and then the 8th position is safe. This one's a little bit different. We did modify the Quake grenade. More to come on that, but just know that there are some issues with the stock version. I've made this out of a full steel body at this point, using some parts off of the original Quake grenade. So more to come out on this, but that is what I'm using on a day-to-day basis. On a different note, there is a second grenade that I like to use when sound grenades are not permitted within the playfield, and I'm actually using the Matrix Typhoon impact grenade. I've been pretty happy with the results. It seems to go off every single time. I've had 1 or 2 misfires here and there, but otherwise, as long as I fill it up before the game and use it within that day, it's had no issues so far. So actually pretty happy with this. Great buy if you guys are looking for a BB dispersing grenade that's not too expensive. The next question I get asked is, what optic am I using on my MWS? What I've got here is a Holosun optic, and it is the ACSS version of the Holosun. And really, I'll cut in some footage of what it looks like in the sight, but it's really cool. We got the chevron, so for the fine point of aim, and then it's got drop downs for bullet drop or bullet compensation. That obviously is calibrated for a real gun, but you can still use that in a holdover. It's not just a dot floating off into space. So if you do have a tracer or you're able to see your BBs, you can kind of calibrate and re-aim to get that BB on target. Obviously, it's not as accurate, and you may be stretching the distance too far, but I have found it useful to have that actual reference point within the sight in order to just get rounds more on target. Again, every trigger pull of the toy replica really does matter. You're very limited on how much ammo you have or how much ammo you're bringing out to the field. So every shot counts, and so I use that exclusively on all of my MWSs, and I've been had really good results with it. So can't recommend this enough. I use this on my MWSs as well as my real guns. Not a problem. Love the Optic. In addition to that, I did want to mention I did buy some Lexan lens protectors off of eBay. They're pretty easy to get. I think it's ADM manufacturing or something like that. But basically, it's a Lexan cover that goes straight on there, and it's a T2 fit. So if you're looking for it, you're looking for like, I think it's the 28 millimeter is what I'll use, or the 30 millimeter as well. That works. Might require a little bit of tape though, but the 28 millimeter fits on there just fine. Have never had an Optic shot out when I've been using those Lexan protectors. So a really good question that's been asked to me is, hey, what is the best field, or you know, what's your favorite field? So I'll kind of put it in order for you guys. Just within the Bay Area, California Bay Area, Northern California space, you know, I've been very happy with DSOC Kill House. That's one of my favorite fields. It is a bit small, it's very tricky, and there is limited number of seats, so you know, be mindful of that. They do have some walk-on tickets, but you know, it's a first come first served basis, so you know, if they're sold out, it might be a risk. So if you're close by, feel free to stop by, but if you're, you know, far out, potentially might not be worth the drive for you. But DSOC Kill House, they run games 2 times a month, and it's a really great community, small CQB, so love going there. The next field that I enjoy within kind of that Bay Area space is All Patriot Airsoft. Again, really great people running the field, gone there a few times. It is a bit more out of the way, especially if you're like the East Bay or the South Bay. But you know, don't sleep on that. Definitely check that field out, especially during the late fall or, you know, early spring months when the temperature's good and the weather's good. Really great field, lots of things to see, cover, things to kind of move in and out of. So very fun environment over there. As we're going down the list, we'll obviously come across Game Pod. Everybody's been there. You know, we all have our opinions about the field. Won't get into that, but Game Pod obviously is fairly accessible and easy to get to, so oftentimes we'll, you know, bring the whole squad out to Game Pod. After that is CQB City, and not for any reason in particular that CQB City's last on the list. Hey, if that's your local field and that's where you guys go every single weekend, you know, hats off to you. You know, I think the play style is just a little bit more different than what we're accustomed to. It's very fast-paced, speed QB type-esque deal, and the engagement distance limit is 0 pretty much, and the FPS limit is 400. So for me, it's just a little bit too painful. You know, call me a baby, whatever it is, I don't really care. But yeah, I just can't really find myself going to that field a lot. It's pretty painful, especially when you're getting shot at point blank, when you're clearing that kill house by a 400 FPS gun. Other than that, there's just a lot of fields within California, so we're very blessed and very lucky to have that. I mean, there's one out in Petaluma. There's obviously a bunch down in SoCal. I've been to, you know, SC Village, had a great time there, you know, number of years back. So, you know, honorable mention there. But definitely want to get out, explore some more fields. So that's what we're planning on doing in 2024. Hopefully make a trip out to SoCal, you know, see Battle Lab, SC Village. I think there's another one up near like Simi Valley that a lot of folks are excited about. So definitely have more on the docket for 2024 to take a look. The next question I get asked a lot of is, what green gas do I use in my MWS? So I've got 2 bottles here. One is the Swiss Arms 130 PSI, no silicone version. I'll typically use this in the winter months. It does shoot a little bit hotter, but it helps the gun cycle, especially when it gets down to 50 or below 50 degrees Fahrenheit. As the weather gets a little bit better, I'll switch over to this one, which is the Aim Top green gas. This does have silicone in it, so you want to shake it. But I typically use that during anywhere from 60 to about 80 degrees, again, dependent on temperature. And I've got my last bottle here, which is my 110 PSI. No silicone again. Do kind of try to mix in, green gas with silicone from time to time, depending on the seasonality, just to keep the mags lubricated. But a lot of times I am using no silicone, just for accuracy purposes. But the 110 gas, really great when it gets super hot, and I'm talking like 80 degrees, 90 degrees Fahrenheit plus. Sometimes we play in 100, 110 degree heat. Really great option if it gets hot in your locale and you want to still play and stay underneath the joule limits for a lot of fields. So next question that gets asked is, what's my favorite between the MWS and the AKM? How do you compare to the two? I'd say it's kind of like picking your favorite child, right? Really love both of these, replicas. They both have their merits. I mean, the AK is a very iconic tool, and it's a lot of fun. I mean, just listen to the rack and then the actual firing. Like, this thing is loud and meaty. Like, if you want to mean business and you like the heavy feel of an AK, you gotta get a Tokyo Marui AKM. You're going to love it, and I love shooting this thing every single day. But more often than not, what you're gonna see me running is the just M4 MWS. Reason being, mag compatibility. When I'm feeling unique and special, right, I'll go out with the AKM and have a blast, but I'll just know, hey, I won't be able to swap mags with my teammates. I am gonna go in there with what I have and kind of have to make do. It's also really heavy, so from a skirmishing ability, you do have to be a little bit more fit in order to run the AK. But again, that shouldn't stop you from running the gun that you like. We play longer games too, so that does play a factor. Not so much an issue in like a 20-minute game, but when the games turn into like 30 minutes, 40 minutes, 50 minutes, an hour-long game, you do get pretty tired hauling that thing around. So this is a really light, compact package, really fit for purpose in CQB, so you can move very quickly, not get shot as much, but still a ton of fun. So between the two, it's really a toss-up. It's kind of, hey, what am I feeling that day in the morning? What do I want to do? What are my teammates doing? Are we going to do some drills and stuff like that? If so, probably run the MWS M4. But hey, if we aren't planning anything and I just want to have fun, have a good time with the boys, bring out the AKM. It's a hoot. Another question that I hear a lot of, especially in the gas blowback community, is like, is WeTech any good? Don't get me wrong. I'm sure there are people that have good experience with WeTech guns. They run phenomenally. They buy the parts that they need to make it run great, and it's a gas blowback gun that serves them well. I'm not discounting that fact. Maybe your WeTech runs great. Now, statistically speaking, if you're going to spend your hard-earned money to buy one of these replicas, get all of the gear and equipment dialed in, and you want to reliably have a good time every single time, I just don't find myself recommending WeTech to a lot of people. Now, if you're very technically savvy, you know the risks that are involved, you're ready to work on the gun. Again, I'll cut in a clip here of one of our teammates shooting a WeTech and just going to town. He's kitted that thing out, he's tapped it into HPA, it runs great, and it's an amazing, replica to go and skirmish with. We really love hearing that on the field. Your finger actually gets tired from how much you're squeezing the trigger so much, but so you have to go into it knowing these different things and just being aware of what might happen should you decide to go with WeTech. Again, there might be some replicas that you just want because they look cool. Again, not discounting that, but if you want something that's reliable, repeatable performance year over year, you don't want to worry too much, and you just want kind of something that's turnkey, MWS, it's been really hard to beat. Next question, as I stand here in full kit, that gets asked is, what is my comm setup? So this isn't for everybody, right? Evaluate your use case, evaluate the team members that you're playing with. This is what I personally run within the team, and this is kind of similar to what the rest of the guys are using as well. I have OpsCore amps on the Peltor CommTac rails. Just did like the Ranger mod, if you're familiar with that. Single downbleed into a Disco 32 PTT. This is the amplified version because what I am connected up to is a Baofeng on my back. And so that Baofeng, it's the UV5R, I believe, inside of an MC Kydex hard case that's located on my back. I don't need to access it because we are just on one channel the whole time. So no issues there about switching channels, but obviously if you needed to access that, you'd probably want to migrate it somewhere that you could actually grab. But yeah, if you are going to do like a typical Baofeng setup just as a cheap option, the amplified PTT is definitely something that you need to look at, especially when you're looking at the military mics. Since you will come across quiet, you will have to speak fairly loud in order to get that to work. I did try a code red amplified PTT. Ended up not working with my setup, so I went back to the Disco 32. Wanted to do some dual lead stuff and try to get that going, but it just didn't pan out. So we'll have to figure something else out for dual comms if I want to run 2 radios, command 2 elements. But basically, just as a recap, what we're running here is the OpsCore amps, running to a Disco 32 PTT. It's got Kenwood plugs on it into a Baofeng UV5R inside of a MC Kydex holster. So that's it, guys. Really appreciate you guys watching. Again, want to give you guys a shout out and a thank you for watching the videos, supporting the channel. Really appreciate everybody, reaching out and leaving comments. So continue to do so. Continue to ask questions. Continue to collaborate. Really love to see it. Also thinking about putting out a loadout video if you guys are curious. So just let me know in the comments if that's something that you would like to see more of. Have a couple of updates that I've done since the last one came out. So hopefully this is helpful. Again, want to try to distill as much information and put it into a concise video for your faces. And again, really appreciate it. So happy holidays from me to you, and looking forward to seeing what 2024 has for us.